Hello everyone, I am Pranav Dattawadkar, currently a second year MBBS student at Grant Medical College, Mumbai. My topic for the competition is clinical physiology. So let's begin with my case. A 35-year-old woman comes to her physician's office with the complaint of recent rapid weight gain and excessive sweating. What initiated her visit was a recent panic attack that frightened her. Her face looks swollen compared with the rest of her body. She complains of recent weakness, backaches, and headaches, and her periods have lately been irregular. Over the past month, she has noticed frequent bruising with slow healing. She is not on any birth control or any medication except for acetaminophen for the headaches. Her blood pressure is 130 by 86 millimeters of Hg. The patient's face is round and her trunk is swollen, but her arms and legs are thin. She sounds depressed. She has supraclavicular fat pads. Let's look into the investigations later. After going through the history and the examination, according to me, the most likely and the primary differential diagnosis is Cushing's syndrome, and the main point of discussion here is to determine whether it is ACTH dependent or independent. However, certain other differential diagnoses must also be kept in mind. PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Our patient complains of irregular periods and obesity. Hence, we should definitely look into this and rule out this possibility by testing for FSH, LH, or an ultrasonograph looking for a polycystic ovary. Secondly, iatrogenic or drug-induced causes must not be ignored. Our patient may have taken a steroid medication for some minor allergy, asthma, or even an autoimmune disease, though not relevant in this case because our patient denies having taken any other drug than acetaminophen, but it should always be kept in mind. Thirdly, generalized obesity is something that we tend to forget because it seems too trivial to consider. Following on the same lines, eating disorders like bulimia are also relevant in this case because our patient sounds depressed and has rapid weight gain. Lastly, hypothyroidism should also be checked upon because our patient has a swollen face and menstrual irregularities, though it is unlikely in this case because of lack of characteristic features like goiter, anasarca, etc. So why did I say that the most likely diagnosis was Cushing's syndrome? There are three key pointers that help in establishing this diagnosis: history, examination, and confirmatory tests. Let's look into the physiological role of cortisol, which will help us explain the complaints of the patient. Cortisol causes fat redistribution from the periphery to the central axis of the body, giving us the classic buffalo hump near the neck, moon face, and truncal obesity. Cortisol also impairs collagen synthesis, which leads to thin skin, which causes bruises and delays wound healing. Lack of collagen in the bone causes back osteoporosis, thus explaining the backache. Cortisol also causes many CNS disturbances like euphoria, anxiety, depression, etc. Cortisol is responsible for protein breakdown, resulting in muscle wasting, thereby explaining the weakness. Cortisol also causes irregular menstrual cycles. We further strengthen our proposition by looking into the investigation reports. A report shows that the 24-hour urine collection for free cortisol are abnormally high. However, this may also be seen if the patient is under certain stress. Hence, we must verify this diagnosis by certain additional tests like salivary cortisol or low-dose dexamethasone test. Now, finally moving to the crux of the case, the most important differential diagnosis, that is whether the disease is ACTH dependent or independent. Firstly, we monitor the plasma levels of ACTH. If the ACTH levels are normal or high, greater than 15 picograms per ml, it suggests ACTH dependent Cushing's. We further carry out three tests to determine whether the ACTH secretion is by the pituitary or a paraneoplastic ectopic mass: MRI of the pituitary, corticotropin releasing hormone test, and high dose dexamethasone test. Corticotropin releasing hormone causes increased secretion of ACTH by the pituitary gland, but does not act on the ectopic mass. High-dose dexamethasone, being a corticosteroid, suppresses the ACTH secretion by the pituitary, but fails to suppress the ACTH secretion by the paraneoplastic mass. Hence, if the CRH test and the high-dose dexamethasone are positive, it suggests Cushing's disease. However, if the CRH test and high-dose dexamethasone are negative, it suggests ectopic production. If the results are ambiguous, we should further proceed with the inferior petrosal sinus sampling. In this test, CRH is injected into the inferior petrosal sinus, which drains the pituitary, hence causing an increased ACTH secretion by the pituitary. Now, what if the ACTH secretion is suppressed or less than 5 picograms per ml, as is seen in our case? It definitely suggests ACTH independent Cushing's. We confirm this diagnosis by conducting CT scan of the adrenals. there may be two outcomes: bilateral micronodular or macronodular adrenal hyperplasia, or a unilateral adrenal mass, which is further subjected to tumor workup to determine whether it is benign or malignant. Regardless, we treat this condition by bilateral or unilateral adrenalectomy. So, the treatment of choice in our patient is unilateral or bilateral adrenalectomy. However, as we are removing the adrenals, we also have to give the patient lifelong supplementation of glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. Thank you. If you liked my video, do like and share it. Also, don't forget to vote for me, with the link of which is given in the description box.